Hey everyone, and welcome to PGN Live. Paul Gale Network here, and it is Friday, September 5th, 2025. How are you all doing today? We had a nice bonus stream this morning, and we got to do something that I've been looking forward to doing for a little bit of while now, and that's incorporating some exercise into our streams. It was pretty cool to see. If you give me just a moment, you could all gather around, start talking amongst each other. I'm going to get the pop out chat ready to roll. Okay. We'll discuss a couple of things, including how did the workout go? For those of you that missed it, what did you miss out on? And when will we be doing it again? And for those of you that were here, you could tell people in the chat, what did you think? Whether you participated in the workout portion itself or not. Did you like it or not? Was it long enough for you? Too hard, too easy? You could, speak away, speak away. Okay, that looks pretty good. How is everyone today so far? Are any of you playing Hollow Knight Silksong? Star Wars Outlaws? I've been playing today a little bit of a variety of games, but one of the things I've been playing the most, or that I was playing the most, is Hogwarts Legacy, specifically the Nintendo Switch 2 build. And what I was actually doing is going back and forth between the Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2 versions and taking screenshots kind of in a similar location as close that I could to framing the shot. And I'm like, wow, that's quite a difference. Tsukino Ame, hello there. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you. How are you doing today? Hopefully having a good one so far. This morning we went over the Street Fighter movie cast, but we could do that again. Usually more people show up for the afternoon streams than they do the morning ones, which makes sense. More people off work and stuff like that. You're good? Good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm doing pretty well too, thanks. Got in a lot of chores. Successful in that regard, so that's always good. Got in some good training. And played a little bit of a variety of things today. I played some Hollow Knight. Played a little bit of Fortnite. A little bit of Tetris 99, which is kind of like one of my go-to games that I just hop in and out of all year long. And Mario Kart World with my son. That was fun. And yeah, Hogwarts Legacy, which I was pretty impressed with. It's one of those games that I liked it on Nintendo Switch. It was fine, in my opinion. Looked pretty good, ran pretty well, but there definitely is a difference on NS2. And it gets me more and more excited for the original content that's going to, be made on Nintendo Switch 2 throughout the years. Like, let's have Capcom have a good budget Mega Man game built from the ground up for Nintendo Switch 2 in 3D, That's going to be nice to see. Although Duskbloods, that's going to be a title that will probably turn some heads because it's being made exclusively for Nintendo Switch 2 from the ground up, we're going to see what is a good, high quality studio capable of. You can't wait for Pokemon Legends ZA? Yeah. Impressions coming out of PAX West on the game are quite positive. So that's definitely good to see. It plays different than Pokemon Legends Arceus, but that's okay. It looks like it'll be a different kind of good, you know? And it's exciting too because it will be yet one more 10 million seller added to Nintendo Switch's list. And that's kind of fun. The stats part of me is like, I'm all up for that, you know? Nintendo Switch currently is the system with the number one amount of 10 million selling games for it. So to have it continue upwards more and more, that's exciting. Hey, Steak 1024, how's it going? I'm doing pretty well, thank you. You know, good workout this morning in the workout stream. That's kind of how we finished the stream before going over some Street Fighter movie stuff. I played some video games throughout the day, gotten some chores around the house done, stuff like that. It was solid. How are you doing, Steak? What's new with you? I did not really like Legends Arceus. I wanted more battles and not all catching. Hmm. I I felt like I did a fair amount of battling in that game. But the catching mechanics, yeah, they operate a little bit differently. Well, I think in that case you will like Legends ZA probably, Tsukino, because it looks like there's a lot more battling and it's a little bit more dynamic, you know. Steak wasn't able to catch most of it. Yeah, was driving at work and had it on in the background. That's all right. You know, we'll probably go over some of that stuff again, or all of it. You know, I have the Street Fighter movie stuff right up here, just in case people want to go over it again or for the first time because they missed it. Maybe some people want to chime in because we didn't spend a whole lot of time on it. Like I expressed, I think the cast looks good. Some of the cast, like roughly half. Let me look. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Eight of these people I outright definitely recognize and or know who they are. How many are here total? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. So I'm just under half, I suppose, of people who I know who they are, you know, either by name or at least recognize, have some familiarity. Maybe some of you are like, oh, so and so actress or actor, they're from this movie, this TV show. They're really good, you know. The retrospective guy. Hey, Paul, how's it going? Pretty good. Good to see you. Thanks for asking. How are you doing? Are you excited for the Street Fighter movie? Yeah, I am. I'm a huge Street Fighter fan. And dang, talk about if there was a movie that I would like to be in. I mean, well, I would take Legend of Zelda also. Give me a small role as Hylian Knight, number 7, standing over there. You know, that's good enough for me. But if there's a movie that I could be in and be a character or do some good, some martial arts choreography, some stunt work, even like a small acting role, dude, it would be Street Fighter. Street Fighter's my IRL life. And I've modeled so much of my martial arts career around Street Fighter, meaning like legitimately inspired by the series. And I've taken that with me since 1987, really. So I hope the movie is good. We'll talk more on that if you want, including like past films and stuff. Who's your go-to fighter? Ryu. I got my evil Ryu versus violent Ken shirt on. It's a pretty cool shirt. I like it. There's alarmo going off. Or Ryu, if you prefer. Ryu and Ken. They didn't ask you to be in Street Fighter? Not yet. I mean, probably not. But no, they didn't. Perhaps if I had a proper Hollywood agent that would demo me for films, then that would be one thing, you know? But yeah, if there's an opportunity still to be in it in any capacity, oh heck yeah, I would. Noah, hey there. Good to see you, Noah. It's coming out so soon. Yeah, October 16th. That's 13 months. We've got Mario movie, Street Fighter movie, Zelda movie. How cool is that? And we have brand new Spider-Man. We've got Supergirl. And then we have another Superman. We also have the Batman and another Avengers. It's a good time for the box office. And we have another Godzilla Kong, Supernova. Cool things happening. Any word on another numbered Star Wars film? Anything on 10? I don't know. Risky. Yo, Paul, are you sure we're getting the direct next Friday? I'm not 100% certain that it's happening next Thursday or Friday, but there's an awful lot of chatter from various people that have heard that one is indeed coming soon, and from some people that it's not just soon, but it's in the second week of September, and from some folks count on it being either the 11th or 12th. A lot of that lines up pretty well, you know? So if it's not next Thursday or Friday, whatever. It might be September 17th. Who cares? Close enough. You know what I mean? But it's looking quite likely that this speculation of Thursday or Friday is pretty likely. So maybe we'll get like a 3 p.m. Friday afternoon direct. That also makes it 7 a.m. on Saturday morning in Japan, which is a little bit different. But it also lines up well with the Super Mario Brothers 40th anniversary, which is the 13th in Japan. So I'm pretty sure we're going to get it next week. I'm more of a Chun-Li guy. Yeah, Chun-Li is great. Most big directs were on Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, and who knows? Next week's direct could be Wednesday or Thursday. Steak. Would have thought John Cena would have been able to put a word in for you, as they have a bunch of WWE guys in LOL. Dang it. Yeah, come on, man. Look at this. Perhaps I'm a little bit too white Caucasian to be Ryu. Ken, though? Yeah. Well, I mean, Ryu has been drawn to look a little bit different this way or that way over the years. Sometimes a little bit more Japanese, sometimes a little bit more, brown-haired Caucasian male. So I guess certain looks of him I could have pulled off a little bit more than others, maybe. Ken, though? You dye this hair blonde? Yeah, I could do Ken. Although Ken's part Japanese, too. And I'm not. The retrospective guy, Star Wars Starfighter, but that's in 2027. So that's the same year as Zelda. Okay. So 2027's got Zelda and a Star Wars, but it's Starfighter. When's Starfighter set? Like, during what era? Is it before, after, or during any of the nine? Ring Fit 2, Nintendo Land 2, or ARMS 2 would be awesome. I think Ring Fit 2 is going to happen. ARMS 2 is a decent possibility, I'd say. I mean, the first one sold several million, so it might. I'm literally built for Street Fighter. Thanks. Come on, if I'm not going to be a main character because they have to make sure that they have somebody with some serious acting chops, which I think I could pull off a certain level, debatable on how high of a skill level it would be, but I think I could pull off a certain level of acting. But the physicality, the heck yeah. If I wouldn't be fit for a main character, someone of like a tertiary role, oh, I would love it. I'd love it so much. Sadly, it's never going to happen. What's never going to happen? Ring Fit 2? Well, I wouldn't be so surprised at that. Look, Nintendo went from We Fit You, Ring Fit. So, who's to say they won't have a Ring Fit 2? ARMS 2. There have been plenty of Nintendo franchises over the year that have unexpectedly all of a sudden got a sequel, you know? And a wealthy Nintendo is willing to make both bigger budget games and smaller budget titles that don't necessarily have to sell tens of millions because they could risk it. So an ARMS 2 might happen one day. Nintendo Land, oh, not that that's impossible, but I would say that's probably the least likely of those three. Robbie Rains, hi there. My Joy-Con 2s were getting scratched on the grip, so I stopped using it. Oh, man. You don't want that to happen. Tsukino Ame, I want a Nintendo Land 2 as well. I did not have a Wii U, only 3DS. Even a Nintendo Land getting ported would be pretty cool. But yeah, Nintendo Land 2 would be neat. I guess I might as well join for the second time today. Yeah, what's up? Published. The retrospective guy. 5 years after the rise of Skywalker. Okay. So that's a decent amount of time. That's actually closer in time than, some of these Star Wars trilogies are in between each other, or even some of the movies independently. So that's kind of cool. Freddie Mercury, hello there. Coming in here from Greece. Good to see you. It's a bit late, but good to see you on stream. This morning, by the way, well, morning for me. If you were here in that stream, because some of you were that are right now present, what did you think of the workout? I know from what I recall, some said, yeah, definitely had my blood pumping, felt good. That was a little bit tough, challenging, but thanks for the motivation. Definitely feeling it, but that was nice. So from my recollection, there were at least 3 people that voiced off like, hey, that was positive. Brian C, hey. Welcome, Brian C. Good to see you. Published, running out of time. Did you put your Mario Universe idea on tape yet? Yes, I did. Let's see. How's it doing. Right here. Super Mario Brothers 40th Anniversary Direct everyone, Predictions. Yeah, it's a 14-minute, 25-second video. And I put it up last night. I guess like 9 o'clock or something like that. And it has 20 likes, 122 views. That's pretty good. Let's see if I can click on it from... that's picture in picture. Let's see if I could click on it from a different way and see How does it look like from someone else's perspective watching? Okay, yeah, like 123 views 19 hours ago. Yeah, that's about the same. Oh, cool, cool. Seems to be doing well. Tsukino Ame, I can feel it in my legs. Heck yeah. That's good to know. Small little man. Traditionally, I've been a long video content creator. I would say more than not. I put up long-winded speeches on Star Fox and Mario, Zelda, experiences at E3, experiences at Street Fighter, thoughts on the video game industry, deep diving into sales and analysis and stuff like that, which I think makes for good conversation if you're trying to digest a lot or really pick someone's brain who's been in the video game industry and who has attended so many E3s and stuff like that. But as we've seen like generations go by, there's also a big audience that is a swiping type of audience where they go as quickly as they can throughout things to just digest a lot. They don't want a whole deep dive on something, they just want a little bit of a sample or a hot topic. So that's where shorts come in. Now, the shorts are for a very different reason, though. I'm not making like 3 minute, 1 minute long content. It's literally like 6 to 10 seconds to do that daily countdown or that daily calendar kind of approach. Um, so I've been doing a bit of both. If enough people watch my 12-minute Mario predictions video, that would be cool if they can make it the whole way through. What's better overall? 120 people who watch a 13-minute video or like 1,000 people that watch a 10-second video? Uh, I don't know. I don't play into the algorithm all that much. I just talk and have fun and talk about what folks want to talk about, do some video game sales, Nintendo Direct hype, etc. Sin and Punishment was a good game on N64, as was the sequel on Wii. Dylan Rolling, that was the fun one on 3DS. That's pretty cool. Tsukino Ame, you miss E3, always wanted to go. Yeah, I miss it too so much. Did you get more time with Silk Song? A little bit. I played it today. I played it with my son. And it's really good. I would recommend it. I think if you don't have Hollow Knight, then you could just pick up Silk Song and just enjoy it right from there. Attention spans are completely gone now. Yeah, that's kind of a thing. We live in such a fast food world. Fast food, fast internet, everything getting it quickly absorbed, digest, boom, move next. Even like how we watch our shows. You used to have patience to wait once a week for a new episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Smallville, Lost, right? Sometimes 2, 3 weeks when there's a little break, or wait a couple of months even in between until it came back on. And nowadays, you've got whole seasons dropping, boom, just like this. Binge through all of Cobra Kai, binge through Wednesday in one sitting. Peacemaker is doing a little bit of a, episodic kind of thing once a week. Alien Earth is as well. But yeah, we're in a different era where people like a lot of things very quickly. It's all good. Different types of things, I guess. It'll be interesting to see how our brains slowly change depending on how generations follow suit, 40 years from now. I love to watch documentaries and they could be long, yeah. Silk Song has become GOTY contender. I would say so. I think Silk Song is probably going to make plenty of outlets Game of the Year contendership. Insane how Silk Song is more beloved than Metroid nowadays. Hollow Knight has sold more copies individually than any single Metroid game, but I don't know if it's accurate to say Silk Song is more beloved than Metroid, because Metroid, as an IP that's been around for nearly 40 years, still has 4 decades worth of different fans spawning different generations, different age groups, and Samus has appeared outside of Metroid also in popular statue forms for mega collectors and has been all over the place, has been in Smash Brothers, has a lines of amiibo, etc. So I don't think that's accurate. What's your favorite Zelda game? Kika asks. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Prior to Breath of the Wild, Ocarina of Time was my favorite Zelda game. And then Breath of the Wild topped it, finally, 20 years later. How about you? Yeah, and then half the time, wait 3 years for a new season. I like the old way better. Yeah, sometimes you would wait for quite a while. Expedition 33 could win Game of the Year as well. Yeah, that's another one. There is one more. Actually, there are, like, I'd say two more big games that I think are going to be Game of the Year contenders. I think Metro Prime 4 Beyond, serious Game of the Year contender, and Ghosts of Yote. So, though, yeah, Metroid Dread is the best selling entry, sitting at like 3.24 million or something like that. All of Metroid over the last nearly 4 decades has sold approximately 23 million copies or so. Somewhere around 23 million copies of Metroid. But think of it like this: what generated more in the box office? Avatar or Godfather? Avatar did. Or how about Deadpool Wolverine or The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly? Deadpool Wolverine. My point, though, is it doesn't necessarily mean that sales alone represents a fandom or a certain level of appreciation that people and critics have. Hollow Knight, it deserves its dues. It's a great game and it sold very well. Metroid is a highly critically acclaimed franchise that has lasted for 40 years because the quality has always been there. It's just one of Nintendo's IP that hasn't sold gangbusters. But not everything is made just for sales. Otherwise, you would see nothing but action movies enter theaters. There would be no dramas, there would be no comedies. Every movie would just be a big blockbuster $250 million budget movie with the only objective being make as much money as possible. And clearly that's not what video games are about either. So I don't think it's pathetic at all. You know, it's just Nintendo has different franchises, different types of games that satisfy different needs for them and for the industry. Hi, Pokemon Fan 34. You just missed Peach. She was here a second ago. Let's see. What do you expect in the next Nintendo Direct? Oh, I'm going to get to that. That I could talk a bit. I could talk quite a bit on. Let me get some more. Let me read some more if there are any quick ones to go through. Death Stranding nominated. It might be. Hoping for a Yoshi game or Woolly World port. That'd be great. Corny Puddle. Hello. Good to see you. Also, Cherry is dependent on Hollow Knight to do well. Nintendo can make something because they love it and not because it has to be a bestseller. Absolutely. Yeah. Nintendo also can't necessarily do, all right, here's Donkey Kong Bonanza for 20 bucks. Game's been in development for 7 years and there's a few hundred people involved. Team Cherry, also 7 years or so for Hollow Knight 2, Silksong, but a much smaller team of like half a dozen folks. So it's a little bit different. I just Prime 4, I wish Prime 4 didn't take 18 years. Yeah, I'm sure that was never their intent, you know. But I hope it's a big one. I hope it's a good one. I know it's going to be. I don't doubt Metroid Prime 4 is going to be great, but I hope it's like even shattering our expectations. Horizon is a new IP, sold over 30 million and loved by critics. Yeah, Horizon did really well. It is a little bit misleading though because a lot of those 30 million sold for like 10 bucks. You know, hey, that's still 30 million people or so that have the game, which is awesome, but quite a few of these PlayStation games come out for 60, 70, drop 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, boom, 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 boom. And like a big portion of them have sold at like 10, 15, 20 bucks level, you know, and not at that 60 level. Nin128, man, I keep missing your streams. YouTube ain't even sending the notes. But alas, Paul Gale, Super Show. Nin128, I'm glad that you're here. You missed this morning stream, but it was like a random. I hopped on, so it was a little bit of a bonus stream. We did get in a workout though, which was pretty fun. So I'm going to talk about that. We have some people in here that are saying, "Hey, my legs are a little bit sore from that," but in a good way. Sad that Metroid can't reach the same height. Metroid doesn't have to sell 10, 20, 30 million. Would Nintendo be happy if it did? Yeah. But Metroid doesn't have to be that for Nintendo. It just has to be the game that satisfies a genre, be it niche or not, does well in sales to make the money back, to make the profit back, and to show that Nintendo has a good variety of IPs and capabilities within their studios and remain that consistency. And that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Maybe this Metroid Prime 4 game will be the one to do 7, 10 million. Nintendo should bring back Nintendo Selects. Nintendo Selects, Nintendo Player Choice. At one point, it would be cool to see a new Player's Choice line of like start off with a dozen or so permanently reduced $30 Nintendo Switch games. Last of Us, new IP, already has a TV show. Yeah. You know, don't forget, Sony is more than a company that makes a video game console. They have ties in TV and in film and in music. So orchestrating things to get certain things done, if that's their direction in wanting to have things televised, that's what they do. You know, look at God of War, been around 20 years. Is there a God of War theme park? No. Ratchet and Clank, been around 20 years. Is there a $1.3 billion successful Ratchet and Clank movie out there? No. Look at Jak and Daxter, been out for 20 years. Do you walk into Hot Topic and see Jak and Daxter left and right? No. Sly Cooper, been around 20 years. Do you go to McDonald's and see a partnership there? No. The Last of Us, been out for 15 years. Do you see partnership with Nike having The Last of Us shoes left and right? No. So you see, Risky, companies have different objectives. Nintendo finds success in this way. Sony finds success in this way. It's just a different strategy. I think when you come into the stream and you say sad that this, unfortunate that that, it's a little bit of a reverse psychology antagonizing tactic that draws out people to respond or combat, when in reality, it's not needed to lessen one to make another look good. It's just different approaches that companies have, you know. Published. I just watched the last video. I can't wait for next week. Thank you, Published. Awesome. Yvonne Francois, hello. New IP that's like 15 to 17 years old, true. Mother Brain from Metroid was featured in Captain N, the video game master. Very beloved cartoon, yes. Okay, Metro TV show wouldn't be making a show for the sake of making it. Wait, Metroid has a theme park? I didn't know that. Wow. No, Metroid doesn't. But Mario, Donkey Kong. That's what I was alluding to. No, I understand the trolling, and I'm just saying, you know, be cautious of the reasoning for being in a chat room, in particular on my chat, which is a clean, cool, calm place where it's not necessary to intentionally try to ruffle feathers. You could share an opinion, but like one thing that I noticed that happened last time was something along the lines of, and it's an antagonistic tact, it's trying to ruffle feathers to get people to chime back or to be mad, a reverse psychology kind of tactic, and that's saying something like this: it's sad that Nintendo's been around so long, but Sony's the market leader. It's going to get people to respond. First of all, it's inaccurate though. I don't mind an opinion saying, I wish that Nintendo would do this a little bit differently because I like the way that Sony handles this. But to say, which has been said in my chat before, that Sony's the market leader is sad that Nintendo's not anymore. That's just antagonizing folks that are predominantly Nintendo fans, when I will tell you exactly how it is. Take the 40-year history of Nintendo and all the consoles that they've sold in that amount of time and divide all those consoles by 40. Take Sony's 30-year history and divide all those consoles sold in those 30 years by 30, and you will see that Nintendo not only has sold more, factually, but they've also been around for 10 years more, 11 years more, whatever. But divided by the amount of years they've been around for, Nintendo has actually sold more. And Nintendo Switch has outsold PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, and Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo Switch continue to outsell PS4, PS5 in Japan, and Nintendo Switch 2 outselling PlayStation 5 in North America and globally. So to come in here and try to fearmonger or set up something or antagonize people to bait them to try to make some anger out of making some false claims, it's not the right place to do it. This isn't the right place to do it, because I will share facts, and that's not to humiliate anyone, it's not to make anyone feel bad or lesser, but I'm not going to let somebody speak inaccurately. I'll squash it. If it's an opinion, fine. If you're right, cool. But if you're lying or speaking in an intentional way to cause a disruption, that's not welcomed. Doesn't fly well with me. A Metroid film would be pretty cool. Yeah, 10,000 noodles. Nintendo is the best gaming company. It's not even close. Absolutely, Egomaniac87. Look at how much they've pioneered in terms of hardware and software over the years. They're the only ones that are still around. They're the only ones with this level of breadth of variety in IP that still has vibrant franchises. Astrobot, really good game. Yeah, sometimes sales don't necessarily equate greatness. Pokemon Fan 34 saying hi to Peach. Yeah, she's about to go get her nails done. Fun fact, you wouldn't have PlayStation and Xbox without Nintendo. True, Pokemon Fan 34. Stake 24, that's when Paul hits him with the counter. Be like water. Bruce. True. That's true. Okay, let's talk. Oh, hi, Peach. Do you want to say hi real quick? Peach, you want to say hi real quick? Oh, she's a chunky girl. Peach says hi. She's going to go get her nails done. You going to come back with nice nails? You going to get your nice nails? You going to get nice nails. We got to get to one of the topics. A good question that was asked. I think I have it highlighted. Peach, say hi and say bye. Bye. Okay. Alrighty. Let's see. She's a big fan of ears. Yeah, she is. 10,000 noodles. Okay. I was asked a question earlier, an actual question by Kika. What do you hope to see in the next Nintendo Direct? Okay, so I am on team. I think the Nintendo Direct is going to drop next week. Steak 1024 for some treats for Peach and to get your counter started. Peach. Come here. Peach, do I have a treat? Peach, want this? Thank you, Steak 24. Peach, come here. Peach. Hi, little dog. Here's your Peachy pie. Get your Peachy pie. Was that good? You're lucky. Peach, you say thank you to Steak 1024. Thank you, Steak 1024. That was delicious. Thank you, Steak 24. We got the counter started. Oh, sorry. 5. Still awesome. I appreciate it. Very cool of you. Thank you big time. I was midway in thought and I saw that and I was like, whoa, that's certainly really cool. Big thanks. Yeah, she talks. Peach talks a lot. Steak 24, you just contributed to the stream. For those of you that don't know what this thing is over here, every stream, the ideal goal is we hit Nintendo $64 because what we do is we turn it right back into the chat and one person gets a $10 eShop card. And that's kind of cool. You don't have to submit anything to be a part of it. Just choose to be here and say that you would like to be entered in. But those that do contribute, well, it's thanks to them that you get an eShop card. So Steak 1024, you kick this thing off. I'm grateful. Whether we hit it or not, I'm still appreciative of that amount. So big thanks. And Peach says thank you too. Yes. Okay. Talking about the topics. We could go over this one later if you want. We went over it this morning. Some of you might not want to hear it again, but if you do, let me know. I'll go over it again. But what do I think is going to be in the Nintendo Direct next week? At this point, I'm totally on board with Super Mario Bros. 40th anniversary talk. I originally thought we would see a little bit of a split, like 2 weeks apart, between Super Mario Bros. 40th anniversary having its own like 15-20 minute presentation and a full-on Nintendo Direct. But I thought if we were going to get one or the other, one would happen earlier in the month and one would happen in the middle. This is technically early right now. Today's the last day to be early. I guess as soon as you start next week, you start to get into second quarter of early. I mean, some people could say, well, early is all the way up until the 15th, and late or second half is 16th. But early to me is like first quarter of the month. When you start getting into like the 10th territory, yeah, it gets to be becoming a little bit mid-ish, because you can look at it this way. Early is 1st to 10th, mid is 11th to 20th, and late is 21st to 30th. So anyways, I'm kind of now thinking a little bit more along the lines of a Mario segment is put into the general, But I still wouldn't be disappointed or entirely surprised if they just had a they just had everything in one, or heck, they could even delay the Mario one and have the Mario one at the end of the month. Or maybe next week we get Mario and they have a general later. Who knows? But regardless, oh, hello there, David Patterson. Welcome. I think next week we see Mario. And, if you watched my video that went up last night, you know my full Mario thoughts. I think Nintendo does something as a shadow drop today, which would be, next Thursday or Friday, and that would be Super Mario 40, the game. Emulated like Super Mario 35 was, but 40 people, available for like 6 months for free for all NSO members on Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2. So what's the story of the Band-Aid? Is this a you should see the other guy moment? Nintendo Prime, welcome. No. It's hopefully no big deal, but remember what I told you that I found out about last summer? That happened over here. Well, this is like a precautionary thing that I don't have the results yet, but they just decided let's take this thing off just to see. So that's what it is. Not that I'm trying to speak in code to the chat or anything, but sometimes I start talking about it and then like it becomes too big of a conversation. But yeah. This one, ever since this one was that late stage one, they wanted to make sure you don't have more, right? So once in a while they check. Last time they checked because they thought, ooh, that looks like it might be, was here, and it was benign. Nothing. Whew, sweet. And then they saw another one, like, oh, let's do that one too. And that was this one. So I'm hoping, well, even though this one was the bad one, this one was benign, there's some other ones randomly that were all benign. Whenever they say they don't like one, it's really just like 3 that they didn't like that have been, slowly accumulating. So anyways, I gotta wait a couple of weeks. I guess I got it last Thursday removed. Yeah. So I wish it was a you should see the other guy, because the other guy would look a lot worse. But yeah, getting into the Mario conversation. Now this is a little bit of a wishful thinking kind of Super Mario 40th Anniversary Direct and or portion of the Direct being all on Mario, right? I could see a Super Mario 40 and that game dropping. I could see them doing a Super Mario 3D All-Stars 2, also for a limited time, and it would include like Super Mario 3D Land HD, Super Mario 64 DS HD, and then the big one that a lot of people want, Super Mario Galaxy 2 Remastered, modern controls because the original never had dual analog, but not just in HD widescreen. No, actually with the effort that Metroid Prime Remastered got, and this would be a $60 package, easy. It could sell big time this holiday season. It wouldn't be too damning to take away sales from Donkey Kong Bonanza, because it's not a 3D Mario that would oversell DK Bonanza and be just too strong, but strong enough because a lot of people weren't around for Mario Galaxy 2 back in the day that it would sell well, and you'd also have that FOMO of, I don't want to miss out on this game because Nintendo's saying it's only going to be available for 6 months. Oh, hey, cool. Robbie Sal's. I'm 37 years old, and I'm glad to watch a Nintendo streamer that's on my level. Heck yeah. Cheers from Texas. Well, big thank you, Robbie Sal's. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. That's super cool of you to donate to the stream. Robbie, if you don't know what you just did, in addition to doing something really cool, which is helping support the stream and contributing, which I'm grateful for, you just brought our goal up to $10. Every stream, there's a goal of reaching $64 just because whenever we reach $64, I give $10 right back to chat via a Nintendo Switch or Nintendo Switch 2, whatever, eShop card. So right here on stream, I go to GameStop, I type in $10 eShop card, I get the code, we run the wheel, and then one of 24 people happens to get it. So that's also what you did, which Stake 1024 also did. So thank you one more time, Ravi Sounds. That's awesome of you. But that would be really cool if Nintendo did, okay, this Super Mario Galaxy 2 remastered as a part of this Super Mario 3D All-Stars 2. Available for Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2. Nintendo Switch 2 version has, 4K support, extra cool, but since it's a limited amount of time, Nintendo Switch owners, you could buy the Switch version and upgrade in the future at any time to the Nintendo Switch 2 version at no extra cost. That way, people would buy it in the droves because they know what happened to Super Mario 3D All-Stars 1 back in 2020. Only available for several months officially. Okay, next. Here is a look at some partnerships that they have in 2026 and beyond to celebrate Mario's 40th anniversary, teaming up once again with Lego, with Levi, maybe with Crocs for the first time, having these different types of collabs with Havaianas one more time. A little bit of a tease here or there. Here's a look at our next Super Nintendo World theme park, which would be in Singapore, because that's underway, but it doesn't have a date, and there hasn't been an update on it in quite a while, right? And we also get out of this direct, like I'm shooting for the stars here, I'm going big time. We see our first trailer of the new Super Mario World movie, and whether it's a little bit of a tease, they have some of the live cast there, like Chris Pratt or Anya Taylor-Joy, or they introduce some new unexpected cast member like Adam Sandler come on stage as Wario, and like, what? People are shocked, crazy. That would be pretty cool for this direct. And they finish off with, here's a look at our next title, and it's freaking Super Mario Universe. And the thing is just out there wild with crazy ideas. And it says, fall 2026 or something like that. Give Donkey Kong Bonanza its own breathing room, but give people a 3D Mario to get around in some capacity early on in Nintendo Switch's life, which is, in the first 6 months. And then, hype up for freaking, Christmas time, holiday season, shopping time, 2026, dude. And that's pretty epic. So that's like my hopes. I also hope for, finally, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond getting a release date. Elden Ring, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Intergrade, Duskbloods. Show us some gameplay footage with the HUD, with a life bar, with all this kind of stuff going on. Some of the games that people are worried about, like, is Nintendo Switch 2 not capable of Metal Gear Solid Delta? Dude, it's capable of Metal Gear Solid Delta. Trust me, okay? But where is it? Where is it? Maybe that's an opportunity for it to show up here. Resident Evil. Oh, Resident Evil. Clearly Requiem can't be played on Nintendo Switch 2. Man, get out of here. Resident Evil Requiem is capable on Nintendo Switch 2. Trust me. Capcom knows what they're doing. Okay? Whether all of these things happen or not, whether all of these things show up next week or not, I don't know. There's this much freaking possibility. But even if this much happens, like, that's still pretty damn cool. Like, that's still gonna make for a fun show. They could do Mortal Kombat 1 gets an upgrade on Nintendo Switch. They could do, here's Indiana Jones and what it looks like, and here's an actual quarter of when it's releasing. Here's the Elden Ring release date. We're dropping a new 99 game today. Punch Out 99, boom. If they don't do like a Mario 40, or maybe they do both. Here's Pokemon XD Paul Gale Network of Darkness on the Nintendo GameCube app. And we're also dropping the following on N64. We're proud to introduce a new tier. Enjoy. Wii DS on that tier with Sega Dreamcast. Meanwhile, Sega Saturn coming to the expansion pack tier, and TurboGrafx 16 coming to the base tier. Like I said, I don't think all of this stuff is going to happen, but Nintendo is the company that has so many possibilities. At any time, they could be working on something you wouldn't have even dreamed of. We think that Punch Out, um, we think that Luigi's Mansion 4 is probably going to come, that it's probably in development, right? That one makes sense. But are any of us thinking that, like, yeah, they're probably working on a Punch Out behind the scenes? Maybe not that many, but that's something that could certainly be happening at any time. Some of us probably think, yeah, I could see that they're working on Yoshi's Woolly World. I could buy that, but how many of us are thinking, oh, they're totally gonna dig into their past and come up with like a brand new 2D Ice Climbers game? I'm like, wait, what? What mark would that even satisfy? You'd be surprised. There's one of two ways that too rich, too confident, too cocky of a company could go. And when you have too big of an ego and you think you're hot, I'll say it. I mean, we can say it. You think you're hot stuff a little bit too much, you get complacent. You're not looking in the mirror anymore. You just think you look good. You're not caring about that six-pack anymore. You're not caring about your IP. You're resting on your laurels of being first place. And you get lazy and you get sloppy. That's a dangerous way for a company in first place that's well off can go. Or you could fight so hard to maintain that position, but it also gives you a little bit of wiggle room because you're healthy. So I can and I should continue to release bangers, titles that cost $80 to $140 million in 5 years, 6 years to develop. But I could also release these little budgets that some of our smaller teams have in mind that take a couple of years, and let's see what happens. And if it sells 500,000, that's all good. We could lose a little bit on something. They don't want to lose. They're still a company at the end of the day. But a healthy, successful Nintendo allows them to make big, badass, big budget, terrific games and experimental content like Labo that they're known for. And you want a little bit of that weird wizardry and that high fidelity software genius. And Nintendo is a really amazing company that more often than not delivers on both. Let me see if I can get back to some chat, because that was a long talk on what do I think is going to show up next week. My biggest surprise, by the way, I love Zelda a lot, so Zelda would getting tongue-tied. Zelda would probably make me the happiest. Like Super Mario Universe, Ocarina of Time remake, brand new original 3D Zelda, Twilight Princess, excellent remastered version, like looking wow, like E3 2011 tech demo wow. But I know I'm going to get a new Zelda eventually. I know, at least with decent certainty, that Zelda Ocarina of Time will probably eventually get remade. But what's not a guarantee is that Star Fox happens every gen. So I think what I would really like to see is Star Fox next week. Or whatever that Monolith soft game is of that woman who looks like a knight, medieval kind of times with this dragon floating behind her. Dang. To see that game and to see just how much technical wizardry we get out of Monolith Soft would be amazing. Free Metroid hat. You almost got Soda's shot out onto the keyboard. Good thing I held that back with a $10 super chat. Huge thank you, Free Metroid hat. Wow. That is an excellent contribution to the stream. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. What did you write? I didn't even see it yet. Woo! That means a lot. So first of all, big thank you. Secondly, that I'm also laughing because I almost spit that out. Um, what would I think about the other hunters from Metroid Prime hunters returning in future Prime games? You would love to see Trace, Spire, or Weevil to return. What hunters would you like to see return? Hmm, that's a good question. Hold on. Is there somebody that's is there somebody causing some junk? Hold on one second, Free Metroid Hat. I have a feeling uh, I know what's going on. So, chat. I'm gonna say it like this. For I'm seeing some. I'm looking for something in particular in the chat, but I also see Joycey J saying hi. So hi, Joycey J. And sorry, I like to say hi to everybody as they come in, but as the chat gets a little bit deeper, and if I don't see like the name tagged, it's a little bit tricky to sometimes catch everyone. Like this, Brian C. Getting a direct on birthday vacation week. I didn't know it was your birthday next week. That's awesome, Brian C. I hope you have a great birthday next week. What day is your birthday? Okay, but free Metroid Hat. Dude, Silex is going to be in the game. Could we see like Spire, Trace, Noxus all show up in some regard? Weevil or Candon? I don't think the game ends up. See, it's Metroid Prime 4. It's not Donkey Kong Bonanza. Donkey Kong Bonanza was like the equivalent of Super Mario Odyssey in that it paid a lot of homage, a lot of tribute to past Metroid games, or to past Donkey Kong games. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond isn't like a brand new reboot sort of title that is going to harken back to like Metroid lore from all of these different generations, these different entries over the years. Because Metroid games are just done differently, but not to say that it couldn't or have some type of little joke in there or a message of like, aren't you supposed to crawl? No, roll, or something a little bit fourth Wally. But it's been so long that I don't know how deep they'll go with lore beyond the core trilogy, but I could definitely see some Hunter stuff in there because, after all, we've got Silux. Who did you say that you wanted? You said Trace, Spire, and Weevil. Trace, Spire, and Weevil. Yeah. I think Spire would be cool. I think Weevil would be cool. Candid and Noxus, maybe. If I had to pick, I'd say put Salix and Spire in the game, and we already have one of the two. But you know what I mean? Like, Metroid has relied on some characters in multiple entries, like Ridley. He's almost synonymous with Metroid at this point. He's almost Ganondorf level, despite not being last boss necessarily. Could he come back again? I don't think there are enough Metroid games that come out frequently enough to the point that people are bored of him. Not at all. So I think that if he showed up, it would be more cool and nostalgic than, oh, Ridley again. So, yeah, I hope that answered that. But I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Hmm. Good thought. Good thought for Metroid Hat. When I watched that original trailer, by the way, if you find it, I was definitely one of those people that was blowing up with my live reaction. What? Silence! Ah! Ah! That's how I feel about certain franchises. Dang it, that's how I felt about freaking Perfect Dark when I saw the laptop gun thrown on the wall. I was like, dude, this is Perfect Dark. And then talk about a burner right in the chest. Canceled. Damn it. Brian C. The 10th is your birthday. Awesome. Awesome. Alchemy, next stream you might donate. Well, thank you. You never have to, but if you do, thank you. I appreciate that very much. Hey, we're at 20 for the goal. We might reach our goal. I want a Metroid Other M remake. Metroid Other M, Risky, that was one of the games that I recently had up that had its anniversary just several days ago. You might be the only one who likes the game. No, I like the game. I think a lot of people like the game. See, Metroid is one of those franchises that you could almost say doesn't have a single bad game in it. And I would say it doesn't have a single bad game in it. It's just the pedigree of Metroid, Metroid 2, Super Metroid, Fusion, Zero Mission, Prime 1, Prime 2, Prime 3. They're all these fantastic games that are like 9.5s to 10s, somewhere in that range. And then, you know, Samus Returns and Dread, 9.5 games, like to 10s, right? Even 9, let's say. And then, Metroid Other M, it's good. It has some unnecessary control elements and some portions in the game that are a little bit wonky and unclear of, but that doesn't make it unplayable, that doesn't make it bad, just some moments that aren't great. But overall, I'd still say good. Live and Learn. Such a good song. That's one of my go-to songs, Alchemy, for whenever I pick a Sonic stage in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I always like put Live and Learn on there. Is Metroid Pinball any good? It's been a long time since I played it, but yeah, Metroid Pinball is good. It's fun. It's been a while, though. I can't imagine hating a game when the option of not playing it exists. It's true. I don't even hate modern Final Fantasy. I just avoid it and accept the franchise is gone. Oh. Do you like Final Fantasy VII, though? I mean, like, remake specifically? Fun fact, Weevil is a modified cyborg spec ops space pirate. I think that's so cool. You know? That makes sense. I don't think I remember that fact. But Weevil kind of is like a... Yeah. He looks like, well, a little bit like Scyther, would you say, from Pokemon? So Weevil being a modified cyborg space ops pirate, that's pretty dope. That is cool. Not the story. The combat and presentations are nice. Okay, let me go up. Let's go up. I heard people preferred Sims 3 to Sims 4. Always wondered why we never got a Sims game after Animal Crossing New Horizons success. Yeah, I'm surprised. My wife would have played the heck out of the Sims 4 on Nintendo Switch. I mean, she likes it, and we'll once in a while still play it on our PC. But that was a little bit of a missed opportunity. I mean, we went all generation without a Madden game coming to Nintendo Switch, right? Or a Call of Duty of any sort. There's been a couple of moments from companies like, why did you not do this all this time? I get it, you weren't an early adopter, because as I talked with some of these companies at like E3 2017, it's like, yeah, we left a bad taste in our mouth. We didn't think this thing would be a runaway success 3 months in. But all generation long, that's why Nintendo Switch 2 is very different. Free Metroid, please donate and request a Sonic song. Okay, Alchemy said that. Hey, Free Metroid had already donated, and they don't have to donate any more than they want to. But I get it, the excitement factor in requesting. New Star Fox Adventures could fill a Zelda void. 10,000 Noodles, yeah. A new one, or for a lot of people haven't played it beyond what, like 1.2 million or so people back in the day. It's been a long time, 20 plus years. Have a remastered version of it at the very least on NSO, but then that takes away like the base Nintendo Switch crowd. I really want a new Wario Land game. Yeah, more than a WarioWare. I've had enough WarioWare for a while to last me a little bit. I mean, WarioWare is cool too. Don't get me wrong, but I want another Wario Land. Let's see. I'm trying to get some more talks. Small Little Man, you'd like a Dig Dug 3? That'd be cool. My wife and I were talking about Dig Dug the other day. Like one of her old school likes. Oh, David Patterson. Okay, talking boom boom. Is it weird that you don't like stuffed crust, but I'll destroy the rest of the pizza? You don't like the stuffed crust? Do you not like the cheese inside of there? I like the stuffed crust. I remember Pizza Hut for a limited time back in the day had pepperoni cheese stuffed crust. It wasn't just stuffed crust, it was pepperoni stuffed crust too. I was like, ooh, that's an extra treat. Mm, let's see what else we got. Now I'm trying to read up some chat. You're all having a lot of talk back and forth. Floyd Tyson. I saw that the other day. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's just gonna be a fight. No weight class in mind, nothing like that. Just here we have Floyd Mayweather and Mike Tyson going. Hmm. Should be interesting. That should be interesting. Nintendo has so many active IP as is, bringing some back occasionally is fine, but you'd eventually have to outsource a ton. They have so much, they almost have too much that, yeah, they would have to say, hey, Way Forward, yeah, would you be interested in, hmm, Way Forward? What could I see you do? What could I see you do? Oh, here's a good one. Here was a good one. Way Forward, we trust you to make The Legend of Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, but go wild with how much new you do, more than just copy and paste with better art and new textures, but like keep the essence of the game. This is kind of the direction that we have in mind and go for it. Boom. Oh, see, so like you never know what Nintendo's freaking working on behind the scenes. It's crazy. Oh boy. See, that's the whole trolling stuff. Hmm. Uh, I I didn't think I'm gonna have to ban someone or remind someone in a way that kind of puts them on the spot to let them know that. See, I try to speak in a neutral way to not hurt anybody's feelings or call someone out. But if you're watching this chat and you kind of know who you are and you know who I'm talking to about, watch what you're saying. Don't cause chaos. I've studied enough psychology that I know when someone is doing something to antagonize others and to draw out some chaos by typing in a certain way. Don't have yourself banned on yet another channel. I shouldn't have to say it, but you probably know who you are. So tone it down. Tone it down. I hope if they do a limited run for 3D All Stars 2, they print quite a bit more this time. I mean, they made a lot. They made a lot. I was still finding them for a couple of months after, like still at a Target. still at that old MSRP. I could have purchased several, $60 a pop, but I just got my one. That's it. David Patterson is getting Silksong this weekend. That's nice. It's good. How is it, Paul? Good. Is it better than the original? So I only played a little bit of it yesterday and a little bit more today. I don't know if it's better yet, but I would say it's as good, maybe better. Yeah. Mock Rider, Punch Out, Golden Sun, Custom Robo, Fossil Fighters, Cubivore, Eternal Darkness, Guys, Chibi Robo. Yeah, there's a lot. Why is Mario 35 the only NSO game that got shut down? It was just a temporary thing, just to celebrate a key anniversary, and that's it. Make it more felt, make the impact more present, increase the FOMO a little bit so that you better play it. Yeah. Let's see what else we got. Where is Wave Race and why has Nintendo banished all other racers they've ever made besides Mario Kart? Bring back Wave Race, 1080, Excite Bike Truck, and F-Zero. Nin 128, you know about my Nintendo Extreme Sports Racing idea, right? Nin 128 and others in the chat, let me know if you want me to go over that idea again. Okay, I think I'm caught up. Oof, you all type a lot. That's a lot for me to go through. Oh, how did I not see this? That's what happens when I try to cut up. TARDIS 76. Really hope we get an Animal Crossing teaser. Man, TARDIS 76. First of all, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. That's really cool of you. You get added to the board, and as I explained earlier, whether you were here or not, you just contributed to the goal of hitting Nintendo $64 per stream. Because whenever we do that, I give $10 right back to the chat via Nintendo Switch or Nintendo Switch 2, whatever, eShop card. I go to GameStop, I get a digital card, and then we roll with it and see who wins out of the 26 people watching or so. Who gets that $10 eShop card? So TARDIS 76, thank you for your contribution, regardless of whether we get there or not. But then also, hey, you helped add to the total, and if someone gets an eShop card, you are partially responsible for that. So that is a cool, extra, nice thing to do. Alchemy, what is your highest donation? The highest donation that I've received is $50. Super generous. The highest you can receive, I think a single highest donation someone can give is $500, which is wild. And I think in gifted subs, there is no limit, so you could potentially spend $1,000 and getting freaking like every member on your channel a subscription if somebody wanted to. But like, yeah, I've had a couple of very generous $50 donations, which very grateful for. But I'm grateful for everybody just being here. If you donate, that helps out with the shorts and all of that stuff. So I appreciate it that much more. But yeah, TARDIS, an Animal Crossing would be big. Would Nintendo release it this early into the generation? Meaning, like, let's say it's their big spring game of 2026. Maybe. Especially if they plan on like giving it 3 years of support. I could definitely see that. It's kind of crazy because Animal Crossing by spring of next year will have come out 6 years ago. So it's a decent amount of time in between that there's definitely a big Animal Crossing community that is more ready than not, Sorry. Just yeah. But Animal Crossing would be big. If they give a little bit of a tease and no year, but more so if they give a little bit of a tease and a year or a quarter or something like that, oh dang. Nintendo Switch 2 is just going to sell so crazy. Free Metro Hat, you like other M, but then again, you like every Metroid game. Heck yeah, free Metroid hat. You know what's up. See, Metroid is it's just such a good, this is just a good franchise. It's just one of the best. It truly is. Have you played the South Park RPGs? Yeah, yes, I have. The Fractured But Whole, and oh shoot, what was the other one called? I played both. Oh, the Stick of Truth. Yeah, yeah, I've played them. I like South Park. South Park is funny. South Park is good. Let's see. 10,000 Noodles. Clearly, he's talking to Nintendo Prime. Joycey J. Told ya. Risky asking, do I have Yoshi Safari? Yeah, I have my Super Scope 6 still for my Super Nintendo. And I have Yoshi Safari. Yeah, it's pretty fun. David Patterson, how about Donkey Kong Bonanza? Have you completed it? Yes, so I have not 100%ed it yet, but I beat the game on the 2 week mark, day 14, 40 hours, 10 minutes, like 70% ish kind of done with the game. And then I went on to getting the post game content, and then I've gotten, a good several dozen more bananas since then. And some of the, not to spoil anything, but some of the special things, I got a couple of them post game. How about you, David Patterson? Have you beaten Donkey Kong Bonanza yet? What do you think? I freaking love the game. It's one of my best of the year. Hey, TARDIS 76. Wow, you just bumped up to the top here. Holy smokes! Just like that, we're really getting there. We're getting somewhere, folks. We're getting somewhere. We're at $32. We're exactly halfway there to someone getting a Nintendo Switch eShop card tonight. Let me read that comment. Big thank you for your support, TARDIS76. Pocket Camp support has ended, and even the new merch is only regular AC branding. 25th anniversary is next year. Something has to be in the works. Nash Wheel said 2026 back in 2024. Surely something is coming. Good point. When a franchise isn't pumping out regular merch that is of a specific game anymore, that could be an indication that, hey, we still want to keep the brand relevant, so let's make Animal Crossing stuff like TARDIS 76. Have you seen the Animal Crossing Crocs? They're pretty cool. If you don't know about them, check them out. If you like Animal Crossing enough, I would say buy them. I don't know if you like Crocs or not. I actually bought my first ever Crocs pair for myself a couple of weeks ago because I like Dragon Ball Z, and they had the Vegeta pair. I'm like, it's on sale? Heck yeah, I'll buy it. It's pretty cool. And they're pretty dope. And I got my son last year the Charizard Crocs, and they're pretty cool too. But yeah, the Animal Crossing ones are nice. And you still want to keep the brand relevant, but if you don't have a specific game or specific references to a title, maybe that's a little bit of an indication of we want to keep things relevant, but not associate with one particular entry right now because we've got something cooking. Maybe. Oh, maybe, TARDIS. I like that idea. '25th anniversary is a big one. Now, only Japan got Animal Crossing for Nintendo 64, or did it come out in the United States? But yeah, it's been a while. 2001. You've got to do something for 25. I mean, I think 25 is a bigger deal than 30 or 35. And you're like, how? Every bigger number is a bigger deal, right? Well, 25 is quarter century. I think 20 is a big deal because it's 2 decades. I think 25 is a big deal because it's quarter century. 30's pretty good. 35 isn't as big of a deal for me. 40 is 4 decades. 45 is like, not that big of a deal. 50 is. It's sort of weird. Like after a while, the halfway points, the fives aren't as big of a deal as the tens. I don't know. But yeah, dude, Animal Crossing coming next year would be huge for Nintendo Switch 2. Don't bother with trolls, but chats for the Nintendo Byte channels and the PGNs seem like they're just filled with people trying to relax and enjoy gaming. Yeah, yeah, we have a pretty good time. Like, you go to Nintendo Prime streams, overwhelming vast majority of the people in there, I'd say, are just having a good time. Nate's having a good time whenever he streams. There's no need for chaos. Does that mean that someone doesn't like to come in and stir up the trouble? You know, it happens, but you know, you'll find them everywhere. David, you haven't beaten the game yet, but you're enjoying it. That's awesome. Tsukino Ame, yeah, you are all cool, relaxed group of people. Funny that I mentioned Crocs. They're introducing Croc cases for iPhones. Oh my gosh. I like this. It's sleek. It's the R-Wings. You see that? See how freaking cool that is? Dang it. That's from Redbubble. We need a new Star Fox game. Dang it. How does that case look like a shoe on the case? It's probably a big old rubbery case that you can't stick in your pocket. It's got holes on it and things for clips and stuff. I don't know. Let's see, what other kind of comments we got in here? Paul, if you could have one Infinity Stone, what would you pick? Good question. I don't know. What do we have as our options? I'm gonna pull it up right here. Space, mind, reality, power, time, soul. I'm already pretty strong. You can't see it. There we go. So I'm going to go with time. I'm going to go with time. Time Stone. I mean, not Time Stone. TARDIS 76 with a $5. I called it a Time Stone. I meant to say a $5. TARDIS with a $5 super chat again. With Tamagotchi Life coming back, Miiverse should come back with an overhaul of some sort. It kind of has to, am I right? A Mii game is coming back. I've always liked Mii's. Because Mii's, for me, first of all, thank you again for the super cool $5 super chat again. We're at 17 now. We're moving on up. Moving on up. And, you know, I liked Mii's because here I was at E3 2006 in May, graduating from California State University with my Bachelor of Science degree in kinesiology, which is all about human body movement, in May, with Wii about to come out in November of that year, 5-6 months later. And I'm experiencing Mii's for the first time. And Mii's sports, athleticism, movement, working with people in physical therapy, helping folks with dexterity issues, learn how to be more mobile. Me being a huge gamer, buying a Wii, having my friends come over, making Mii's, entering Mii's that I created to the Nintendo Power magazine back in the day, looking online, early gaming forums and stuff like that, or after gaming forums have been out for several years, and like looking at different celebrity Mii's, how cool and creative they were, how much you could do. I like Mii's. and they were that first avatar that we had before Xbox and PlayStation kind of followed suit. So yeah, with Tamagotchi Life coming back, I wouldn't mind to see Mii's getting a new something or other. In fact, I kind of wish I'm okay with Nintendo Switch 2 not having like a stars plan, like the equivalent of trophies or achievement, but a stars plan where, or an amiibo plan, something like that, where you have a 3D digital room of yours and you would get like a plaque on a wall or a little amiibo to have on a shelf. And you'd have this 3D room as your space, and you could organize these little amiibo or the plaques on the walls, kind of like, remember in Super Smash Brothers Melee or Brawl? Melee. How you could stack all of these little statues up in a Triforce kind of pattern or whatever, and you had your classic Nintendo systems underneath the TV, and you had a room. Like imagine something like that, and that's different than achievements. That's different than trophies. It's just like two things that you get per game. You know, little poster on a wall is the basic thing, and for completing it completely or whatever, you get the little amiibo figure, and you could decorate your rooms differently, have a little bit of artistic creation, and uh, yeah, have a little me, be a friend with another little me, and then come over to your room and walk and talk. Throw on that camera, which I didn't know about at the time because I, came up with this idea like years ago, and that would be a cool thing that Nintendo could have done to really separate themselves from PlayStation and Microsoft. But anyways, yeah, a Mii game coming back would be pretty cool. Furious Junker Paul, if you could have one miniature animal that would fit in the palm of your hand and obey your commands and be your friend, what animal would you pick? My favorite animal is the gorilla. But I don't know if I would want... Oh, hi, Peach. Wow, looking fancy. Peach is back from her the nail session. She looks all fancy. But I would want like a big gorilla, like just a big gorilla sitting on the couch with me. I don't know about a mini gorilla. But if I had to pick a mini gorilla, that would kind of be like a Pokemon that I could send out and stuff like that and obey commands but also be my friend. Oh, maybe a gorilla also, just because I like gorillas a lot. An updated Mii character creation wouldn't hurt, yeah. Joycey J with the to the east side again. That's the second time I remember because I did that last time too. I don't think they make Animal Crossing Crocs in my size. I'm a 10 and a half in women. They make all sorts of Croc sizes. You should check it out, Tsukino Ame. They just might. I wish I could send it to you so I could see. Plan on getting two of my... Okay, so you're talking amongst each other. Oh, you know what? Should we just... Let me see. What am I looking up? No, not animal. Crocs iPhone cases like this. Oh my gosh, can you all see that? Holy cow. Oof. Oh geez Louise, that's kind of funny. If this is what you're talking about, it's kind of funny. Oh, well, let's look at those Animal Crossing Crocs. Animal Crossing Crocs. They're pretty cool. Yeah. It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. When I saw them at the mall in person, I was like, I'd get them. You love your kids? Heck yeah. Oh, if your dad wasn't a part of your life since you were 3 or so, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, when you become a father or a mother, when you become a parent, like, it's the greatest thing in life. It changes completely who you are, you know? You're not just a boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, husband, wife. Like, you are a parent. You helped bring life into this world. You have the opportunity to have a blank canvas in front of you, and no matter what type of artistic skill sets you have in life, here's your ultimate art project that you could put into this child's life to help make them become as amazing of a human being as possible, as good of a person, healthy, strong, helpful, kind towards others, you know? So, yeah, shout outs to being a good dad out there. That's important. As a shoe for your phone, I would like 99 guys and a gorilla so we could put this argument to rest. Yeah, gorilla versus 100 men, the game. Which it looks like it's happening. I made a poll on X not too long ago. Hey, who out there would like a 100 versus 1, but then take it a step further with different animals and stuff like that? But real character attributes like, you dead? Boom, you dead. Make it like a Fortnite game, right? In different settings, too. You put 100 men in a small, congested area, like 2,000 square feet or something like that, one big rectangle. There's not a lot of space to move around. A gorilla just swinging its arms around with 1,000 pounds of force, just smashing people. Gorilla's going to have a pretty good chance. You have a big field where there's a lot of space to run. Gorilla will eventually probably get some fatigue. Also depends on the kind of people. Okay, we're talking too. Oh, wait. Maybe we'll have to have one stream to really dissect the possibilities of 100 versus 1 man versus gorilla. If my kids had lived, I know for a fact they'd be gamers. If my kids had lived. If I'm understanding that correctly, Joycey, I don't want to get too deep or personal, but if something happened where they passed prematurely, I'm very sorry to hear that. I don't know if that's the case or not, but hopefully that's not the case. But Joycey, are you still here, by the way? Podcast happening tonight? You think, yeah, always. But sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes we show up and there is no podcast, or we're the only ones there, or we're the early ones there. Okay, it looks like there is a podcast tonight. Oh, okay. There is a podcast tonight. You all are welcome to stay right here. How many of you are on right now? We've got a good group right here right now, and I appreciate you all being here. 13 watching. I'm going to go hop on the Nintopics podcast, where Joycey J, who was just here a moment ago, will be joining us, as well as presumably N64 Josh, since he, I guess, is back from PAX West, and Mike Odyssey. Surprised there isn't a mod for a totally accurate battle simulator for 100 versus 1. Heck yeah, let me see. Before we go, thank you to TARDIS76, Free Metroid Hat, Steak1024, and Robbie Saltz for contributing to the stream. $37. We hit maybe not 64, so maybe we don't have a copy of Hollow Knight Silk Song to give out, or a $10 eShop card, but regardless, super cool of you. Big appreciation. I'll try to read the last couple of comments. Scott Stevenson, do you reckon they will announce a new 3D Mario game for 2026? Yes, I think so. Never played Tamagotchi Life. How similar is it to Animal Crossing? Different enough, but calm enough if you like that kind of stuff. Oh. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's kind of it. I mean, there are a couple of things here and there, but some of you are talking amongst each other, so that's it. Okay, if you want, hang out. I'll be right back, but in podcast form with a few other people. Take it easy, everybody. Thanks again for making it out here. Appreciate it.